Welcome to another episode of Candid Convos. Today's guest is Vanessa Vazquez de Lara. She's a family attorney that's practicing since '02, and she's also a returning guest to our Candid Convos. It's been over a year since we last saw her, and we're very excited to see what's new with her. Wherever you are, give it up for her. Vanessa, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Joe.
Well, I'd like to start by asking, how has your business evolved in the last year? Like, what's the good news?
So, we've really just been able to take over after COVID kind of slowed us down a little bit last year, and we've really thrived. Unfortunately, a lot of family issues have come to the forefront since COVID, whether it might be mental health issues with kids that is requiring the parents to maybe co-parent or cooperate a little bit more. And we've been brought into post-judgment matters to people filing for divorce because they realize after spending so much time together that maybe they weren't meant to be a long term. So our firm has really been kind of continuing in the good fight of family law, and we've brought on a few associates. So we are now 5 attorneys at the firm, and and things are really moving along.
Okay, well, it does sound like you're getting stronger. Now, I did realize that one of your staffers has been with you for quite a while now. And on your last Candid Combo with Brett, it was mentioned that you don't endorse anything that you don't believe in. So, how has your relationship with your staffer, Roblet, evolved?
Well, so Robley is invaluable to our firm. When we first brought her in, she was a receptionist and basically just answered the phones and pitched in anywhere else that she might have been needed. But we actually went ahead and we uh, made her an intake coordinator. So she is actually now handling all of our case evaluations for any incoming clients. And she schedules them. She manages our consultations, scheduling, after the case evaluation has been done, in addition to, again, still anything is needed, covering for the receptionist or assisting the office manager with certain things. She's also a certified translator, so that comes in really helpful. Sometimes in our cases where when we might need some additional translating help. So she is she's really invaluable. And we've actually been able to bring her in to do a few of our firm team building things, including our firm's sort of retreat last March. And it's a secret, but I'm sure this will not air before she arrives. But she's coming again for this weekend's trip to Disney World.
Whoa, now that's that's amazing to hear. And also it sounds like she kind of sounds like a jack of all trades, but at the same time, I'm guessing there was a little bit of training and like maturity for you to like start delegating and also reward her like that. Am I correct on this?
Of course. I mean, we always make sure that we try to, train our staff for success. So it's not something where we just kind of throw you in the job and hope that, that everything works out. We do definitely make sure that we are training, and we have an extensive set of procedures for every position. We review those procedures every year as a staff. So that way everybody, it's not only you saying, well, I know that this is my job, but everybody else knows that this is your job. So that way we're not sort of dealing with any issues where somebody might be like, well, but that's not my job, but that's not my job. We sit down and we go through everybody's procedure of everything that they need to do in their job in order to make sure that that everybody's on the same page about everybody's position. So we always make sure that whenever somebody new comes in, so for example, when we brought in Victoria, another staffer, she took over Roble's job. So since we already had all of the procedures for Roble's job, we were able to, really hit the ground running, and Roble helped us to train Victoria since that was basically the position that, that she had just been in. So now Victoria was not only trained by the same person that, that sort of we created the job for, but is also had all of the written procedures for that position.
Okay. So I guess it's safe to say that people in your team are continuously growing. Now, many employers struggle when leading a team and helping each person achieve their own goals. What would you suggest to other law firm owners or business owners when it comes to this? Because it sounds like you're doing it successfully.
So I mean, you really want to make sure that your staff knows what the goals are so that they can, they can in turn help you reach them, whether they're financial goals, whether they are metrics that you're keeping in the firm, whether they are growth goals, whatever the goals are. It's definitely a great idea to make sure that the team understands, is on board, and knows exactly what's going on, because they're going to be invaluable to making sure that you're able to meet those goals. So our staff knows what our goals are for our our leads, for our retainers, for our consults, for our income, even, which I know is something that most attorneys sort of shy away from, having their staff know exactly what the firm is doing. But ultimately, it's pretty simple to go through Clio, our case management software, and figure out what we're earning. So it's not something that, that it's some sort of big secret that they wouldn't be able to figure out if they wanted to. So by bringing them alongside, they really feel like they're a part of what we're building, what we're creating, and what we're doing. So, it really becomes something where it is a firm goal versus Vanessa's goals, and, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. So share the mission and all the steps that go like from one vision to the next one.
Yep.
Now, we also know that you're growing virtually. I mean, we're there with you. So, what's your experience on business taking advantage of the world gone virtual to grow?
So, I mean, I think that it's a much easier conversation to be had now that, with COVID, everybody sort of had a much different experience with virtual, not just staffing, but with virtual everything, virtual meetings, virtual work, virtual staffing. And it really has, I think, opened people's eyes to the possibilities. I love the fact that we've got 3 virtual staffers in 3 different countries, that we have, really educated people that, I wouldn't be able to afford if they were stateside. That's just a reality that my personal assistant is is a trained in the law in Colombia. And that's really not somebody that if I had her here, that I'd be able to afford the kind of rates that something like that would take. But that I know it's it's a very well-paying job, through Get Stuffed Up. So it's something where I really feel that it gives us a good view of the world. It allows us to be able to find exceptional talent, not just in Miami, not just people who can afford to live in Miami, not just people who have sort of found their way here. And having your recruitment at work really takes a big load off my plate, in having to do that kind of recruitment and having to figure out all of the details of, of how to find these people that are just so amazing. You guys are doing such a great job in finding such good talent.
Well, I'd like to personally thank you as offshore talent. I'd like to personally thank you to opening up the idea of like the whole virtual thing is just massive right now, and there's a lot of possibilities. But we're also aware that you used your replacement guarantee. Ultimately, we're still dealing with people. The human factor is still a bit unpredictable. So as a
Right.
company, our goal is to cover our clients and always provide a good service. What's your take on this?
I mean, I definitely have zero complaints. I mean, I understand one of my staffers, chose to, I've actually had 2 staffers that, that their staffing ability changed after they were employed by us. And, GSU was really able to, immediately turn around and provide me other candidates. So it is something that I've been very pleased with, being able to quickly replace those staffers. That's something that, if I had physical staffers here, I certainly would not have been able to do that, because uh, having to restart the marketing machine, the recruitment machine, the staffing, ads, the staff, and having to interview people, and having to to do all of those steps, it easily takes me even when there were candidates, which right now it's been a very difficult, labor market, but even when there were candidates, I remember that before we hired Roble, we spent months recruiting for the receptionist position, and we scheduled multiple potential employees for working interviews where they were scheduled to come in and work for the day paid. So it's not a volunteer, it's not, it's a paid day of labor. And we scheduled it with multiple people who didn't show up to work. So, it's something where the process itself was, we were months in the process before, GSU sort of crossed my radar, and I was like, okay, nope, I think that this is what we're going to try. So the fact that, the GSU was able to immediately and within days have me, a candidate that ultimately I was able to hire, that is, that is definitely above and beyond exceptional service.
We aim to please, and thank you for your kind words, because honestly, I wouldn't say I know everybody on the team, but I pretty much know every team in there. And my take on this is that everybody is doing their best. They really want to make a good performance, a good job. They want to put it out there. Now,
Sure.
we got time for one last question, and you've been there a while now. What would you say is the difference between having in-house and having virtual? Because now you have partly a virtual team. Your in-house team is still big, but what would you say makes a difference between those two, or is there any?
Well, I mean, one of the things is that having your physical team go virtual is very difficult. And it wasn't something that we did it well during, the necessary time period when COVID was really bad. We were all virtual, but there's a difference in staffers that are designed to be virtual. I believe that not all of our staffers have an experience before, working with me doing virtual, but Roble, I know for a fact, did have the experience. I think that that makes it a lot better because they obviously know what's required of them personally, and know what they're able to do and what they can do. We strive really hard to bring in our virtual to our our physical plant. And what I mean by that is we have daily meetings, where we everybody meets here in my office, and we connect through Teams with our virtual staffers. And if anybody's working virtually for the day because they're waiting for the cable guy, or maybe they have the sniffles and they don't feel too bad, but just in case they're working from home, we bring everybody in, through Teams to make sure that they're present with everybody else. So, I feel that that really builds a cohesive team, because you're not just sort of hearing about these people or maybe seeing an email or something, but you're actually literally seeing them, hearing them during the meetings. And it allows us to become a much better, much more connected team. One of our core values is family. So, it's not optimal, but I feel that it's really a great way of making sure that we sort of are building those relationships. And that's one of the reasons why, why we've brought Roble over for a couple of the team building, adventures, I would say, so that we can make sure that, that we have that relationship. And last time everybody was so excited to see her and getting to meet her. And I can guarantee you that it's going to be a really fun surprise when they see her again on Thursday.
Well, I think she's very lucky to be working with you. And I think that constant communication and bringing everybody on board, that's one of your keys to success. So I hope that for all of those that are looking into this Candid Convo, to take that cue. Guys, Vanessa is known as a straight shooter, and it's a good thing. It's a very good opportunity to hear what she has to say about this and about a business, about everything that's evolving going on. Now, it is great hearing and learning from you, but unfortunately, we're almost out of time. Before we go, I want to thank you one last time for those kind words, and please let people know where they can find you and what you can do for them.
Sure. So we are all over the internet. So we've got our webpage, familylawprotection.com. We are in all the social media channels. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, even TikTok. You can see some of our educational videos and some of our fun videos. And you can typically find us under Vazquez Lara Law Group. And if you want to reach out to me personally, I can be reached by email at vanessa@familylawprotection.com. And we help when your family problems become legal problems. So whether it's a divorce, a paternity matter, or a post-judgment matter, which means that you've already been to court, but now you need to go back to family court, that's where we can help.
Guys, you heard it from her. That was it for today's convo. Vanessa, thank you again for your time, and we'll catch up with you guys on another episode of Candid Convos.
Thank you.